Today, I'll mostly be talking about the SSL UC1 and how I EQ Johnny's drums. Woo! Anyway, hi guys. What a beautiful day. The sun is shining here in Ireland, and I figured I'd take advantage of it. Today I mostly want to talk to you about the UC1 again and how I use it to EQ Johnny's drums, get a big fat sound, and also to widen the drums and so on. What I really love about the UC1 is being able to have the knobs and turn them as if you were using an actual desk. I don't have a desk, so this is actually perfect for me. First thing I start with is always the kick drum, and then I move on to the snare. I'll show you what I do with those right now. I get Johnny to send me a WeTransfer, and it sends me a folder with all the files in it. So I just grab them out of here and drop them into Logic. I've already done that. All his drums are here. From the old days, I like starting the kick drum to my left, far left. Also, I have a kick, snare, hats, toms, overhead left, overhead right, overhead mid, shaker, tambourine, djembe, and mallets. I'll solo the kick. The first thing I want to do with a little compression, I want to bring that up to about 4:1. Bring in the threshold. You see that? Well, it's barely hitting 6 there. That's good. Gate, I want to add a fast attack. Try and get rid of as much of the bleed as possible. I think that's going to have to do it right about there. So let's have a look over here now. We're up at around 13 or so. I bring the gain all the way up. Yeah, that's cool. And let's see my Q here. I have it around 1-ish. Let's have a look up there. Yeah, getting a nice click in there with that. And here, that's a nice kick and kick drum there. All right, that sounds pretty good, I think. Apparently 70% of you guys are not subscribed to the channel. You know what to do. Go on to the snare drum next. Solo the snare. Let's see. Okay, let's go for the same thing over here. Let's try and clear that up. 4:1-ish. Bring the threshold up until I'm hitting somewhere around 2 lights there. On the gate, that looks good. That looks pretty cool. All right, let's. Maybe around 400, a little less of that. Yeah, that's too boxy, so let's bring a little bit of that out. The high pass filter, and see where it starts to affect it. Okay. Around 115. So that's where I think I would keep my snare. Okay, normally after that, I would move on to the hats. Cool. Done for the hats. Rack and floor tom. And if there's any other toms. High pass them at around 80, and everything else sounds pretty good like that. I think they're grand as they are. In this case, I have a left-right overhead. Sometimes it might be hats and the ride cymbal, which I use for the stereo effect. Rack on one side and the floor tom on the other as well. I always put the hi-hats to my left and the ride to my right. As if I was the drummer, my ride would be right there. This time I have left-right overhead and a center overhead as well. Take out the bottom end with them and stereo pan them as far out as possible. Maybe that's a little too snappy, isn't it? Yeah, somewhere around there instead. If you do something wrong, just fix it. It's simple as that. The middle overhead, crank the compression on it to get a bit more of a punch out of the sound, and also take a bit of the bottom end out of it. 8:1. Right? Until I get a good bit of crack out of that. Is get a little bit of that snappy stuff out of it to fill up the room. The two overheads together. You can see how that, when I bring it down, it just fills up. It gives a little bit of bite in the back of the room. As well, I have tambourine, djembe. I put the djembe all the way to the left, but put the reverb of the djembe all the way to the right. Tambourine, which is right. Shaker to the left. And that's all the way to the left as well. So let's have a look at that quickly. So we know that we don't need any bottom end on that. So using the high pass, take everything out under 500. So around high passing at around 280. So there's a little bit of the, so you can hear a little bit of the hands there. Yeah, I think that's good. Mallets to the right. Pass it at 157. Okay, now let's have a look at, again, we're having the ratio at about 4:1, and the threshold just hitting, just lighting the second light a little bit. And I can bring up the initial gain, and I think that's good right there. Depending on how many tracks Johnny sends me, they're all mono tracks, so each instrument on its own track, and then I use the panning to get the stereo field out of them. Let's just have a listen to all the drums together now. Yeah, that sounded pretty good, I think. So myself and Johnny's new single will be out on the 16th of September. The new song, Pieces Calling, featuring Dan Rosenboom on trumpet. His trumpet playing is absolutely astonishing. If you'd like me to mix one of your tunes, you can go through the Patreon to do that. That's just one of the tiers there. Thanks very much, guys, and we'll see you next week.